Hey, Tiger Nation, this is Coach Coop with Pause for Thought. It's our third installment. Just letting you know that over the course of our installment so far, last month was developing players, and then now we're going to get into kind of the meat and potatoes of how to build cultures, and that's trusting the process. We're having faith in our coaching staff, having faith in our administration here at school that kind of knows where to go, how to get to where we need to go, and trusting that process in a way that whether it's going good, whether it's going bad, you know for sure that your kids' best interest is at heart when it comes to our school district. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're going to talk about 4 ways of how to build trust within teams. So, what do we do when we want to build trust in our team? So, when we build trust in our team, the coach needs to be able to trust that the athletes will listen to the instructions that are given to them. So our coaches put a lot of effort and a lot of time into using strategy and having different scheduled plans for every day for practice. The kids have got to be able to listen to their instructions. When you have kids that are kind of dinking off during practice and not truly enveloping in what the coach is trying to teach them, it's no wonder that you'll start having a lot of struggling seasons. So often coaches are held accountable for these things, for the performance of their team, performance of the individual players, and it makes sense, therefore, that the coaches that they need to trust that their players are implementing the strategies and the fundamentals and techniques that they've done in practice, and that their players are giving 100% of their effort at all times. So the way you trust in a team is to make sure that, one, the kids and everyone around is paying attention and listening to instruction and understanding their role on the team. Another part of building trust in the process of building trust in the team is you've got to be able to trust the coach. I do know there's lots of bad coaches out there, but there is more good coaches than there are bad. And when you trust the coach, things tend to turn out very well because our coaching staff here at Griswold, I think, is very good, very talented. All come with different skill sets, all come with different motivation factors, just like a different diversity and different array of people that do want our sports to succeed with every sport and not just their own. So athletes, when they're able to trust the coach, the coach is able to develop them as athletes and not just individuals, but as athletics, as athletes as well. So the world of competition, um, athletics or business or anything that you want to do, it places huge physical demands and psychological demands on people. And so when those kids have doubts in their minds, um, when they have trusted that their coach will be there for them, it gives them kind of a guidance, and it gives them that support that they need. And so when things aren't going your way on the field, or things aren't going your way in the classroom, or things aren't going away generally just in life, when someone has someone in their corner, like a coach, like a mentor, like a friend, it builds this trust, and it's a great, beautiful thing to see. So athletes need to be able to trust in their coach that they have the best interest at heart in order to not just win games, but they're teaching them life things, so they become really good citizens in the future. Another really big aspect of trust is, we talk about the team and we talk about coaches, but a huge one is players. You got to be able to trust each other. There's been many times where I'm coaching on the field, using myself as an example, where you could see on the field that the players don't trust each other. So you have one person that feels like they need to do it all in order to win the game. And that's usually a telltale sign that there's not a lot of team trust, and there's not a lot of player trust, and there's not a lot of coach trust, is when you have one or two athletes that feel like they have to do it all. And that's unfortunate, but in order to build trust between each other, you need to work together as a team and trust each other's abilities. We all are different in our ability attributes. We all bring something different. And so accepting the role on your team is much more important than being able to be the person that's the go to every time. As much as everybody wants to be that go to person, it doesn't mean that that's going to make a successful team. Everybody has a role. Um, Often players have different roles and responsibilities, and therefore everybody needs to be able to trust everyone else that they will do what they need to do in order for the team to meet their goal. And their goal is usually to win the game um, and take it game by game. Because if you start thinking down the line of winning championships, you're going to lose your vision of the whole purpose of why you do the things you do. So taking it game by game and learning to trust each other on the people that are on the playing field, which happens to be the players, you learn to trust each other. You're going to be a lot more successful rather than one person doing it all and being frustrated in the end. And the last thing, not the least important because it's last, but the number 4 issue, you got to be able to trust yourself. I've seen so many kids with their hands on the ball, and when they get that opportunity to do something well for their team, they just kind of just they crap the bed, so to speak, and they don't know what to do because they don't trust themselves. So they have a hard time catching the ball. They have a hard time shooting the ball. They have a hard time figuring out how to take a guy down on the wrestling mat. There's so many things that go wrong when you don't trust yourself because you are afraid that you're going to fail. And so when you're afraid to fail, you've already failed because you have a different mindset that you're afraid of what people will think when you do fail. So when you trust in yourself and trust in your abilities in the role that is given to you on your team, you tend to do a lot better. So you're able to execute tactical aspects of the game to do anything that brings success. So this is sometimes known. A lot of people think of this as self-efficacy or self-confidence. So players who have low self-confidence do not perform well, and because they don't trust in their abilities, and usually that trickles over into other players as well. Because they don't trust themselves, it's much easier to blame the other person when they miss a shot or when they don't catch a ball or they hit the ball with the bat. I mean, it's we do that as a human species. We tend to blame instead of taking ourselves as the example and learning just to trust ourselves. So trusting in your team, in your coach, and fellow players, and I wouldn't say most of all, but it's up there. But you need to trust yourself. And now this doesn't need to be blown out of proportion. Of I just have all this self confidence, so I need to shoot the ball 90 times a game during basketball. But having trust in yourself enough to know that my role is to get rebounds. My role is to get the ball to the best player on the team. My role is to dive for loose balls. My role is to get as many points as possible to help my team win the match for wrestling. I mean, the list goes on and on. As soon as we learn to accept our role on the team, we tend to see a lot more teams be successful where they start first winning games, and then secondly, you can start thinking about winning championships after that. But it all comes back to our 3 words of being selfless, having that mentality, and building citizenship, building citizens of the future. So I hope this goes well for a lot of you that are watching. But in the end, we need to trust the process and trust our coaches and trust each other in order to build something great here at Griswold.